Good morning and welcome to today's live show. That's right, today we are going to do some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta going forward. Taking a look at GME and AMC as well. GME confirming a 2-hour cross up. Remember, we have to remain crossed up and we have to go positive. We tried to make that very clear last night. In last night's video, we said it over and over again. This has to go positive. You notice right here, yeah, we we got that gap up around this. So really, you could have expected a gap up here, but we never were able to curl back down, and that's when you saw that big move kind of collect up. So that's what we're paying attention to for this right here. As we go back over into the regular market, not the meme stock, we can see that the SPY dropping down to lower levels to start the day. So we do have a point to pay attention to on the 30-minute here. If that wants to curl over one more time, well, that would put us, if the direction is down, I would say 542.03 to the downside is what we really need to pay attention to. Now, from here, if we need to make just a stronger base, or if something crazy happens, right, we're going to use that as rejection, but 68% chance to bounce from that area. All right, good morning. Chugging some water early this morning. And a quick note for you guys. Just remember that course is only $100 for another 5 days, so get it while it lasts. Good indication and a good way to learn about these indicators, and a good way to learn how to trade around these ranges, what you should really be looking for when taking a trade. So real quick, the SPY, we'll see if this is able to curl over, then we'll see what happens down in these areas. The Qs, what do we see here? Well, they might need a stronger base. They might need to come up and get some kind of higher low. That would be very interesting if the Qs did that this morning. So for the Qs, we still want to pay attention to 475.52 to the downside. Apple, we're seeing that thing bounce up. There you go. So that divergence says there's a little bit more to be said here. That 2-hour about to cross up, and then your weekly expected move is pretty close to you here, I believe. Yeah, it's pretty close to you. So let me actually pull those up real quick. Yeah, for Apple, you just do not have too much for upside from this area. So it'll be interesting to see. That means something crazy can happen, but it could mean we're only going up to like 214 for Apple here. So just pay attention to it. Right now, we want to also look at a 30-minute, right? If that curls down, then there's no way that the 2-hour can go up. Tesla is seeing another upward move here. Look at that 2-hour crossed up. It said, hey, I'm going. All right, let's see how high that bad boy can go for this week. What's expected? It looks like about 4 points higher. So we could go about 4 points higher from this area here. We'll pay attention to it. We're starting to test these highs. So a little breakout there would make some sense, but we want to see if there's any kind of traps left in this thing, because there's been a lot of traps for Tesla. So the 2-hour for Amazon starting to confirm here, okay? Starting to confirm the divergence at this point, that bar right there. And what do we notice about the 30-minute? Well, it's not curling up. So really want to be patient here. Even though the 2-hour is crossing, I want to be patient, see if this 30-minute curls up. If it prints coming down and we see a strong move, or if it just pops up for a second and then curls down, that's when I would be more inclined to take a position, right? So we'll pay attention to that going forward. Nvidia heading to higher levels to start the morning, has not rolled over on this 30-minute. We said, yeah, this base right here might have a little 15-minute, 5-minute divergence in it. That means a bounce is coming, but your range just is not all the way back up here. It is high up. It is high up. It would be like a full retest of 135, but I'm just worried that we need a stronger base in order to make that kind of move. To just V-shape at this point where the stock is at, kind of near the all-time highs still, it's a little bit like, I don't know if that's exactly going to happen. I think you might need a stronger base before seeing some kind of overall rip to the upside. But hey, it doesn't have to do that. If the 2-hour starts to curl up, okay, 2-hour momentum is with you, and most likely this bounce does continue a little bit. And you see first thing this morning, that's what's trying to happen, is we're trying to curl up that 2-hour. So I'd really pay attention to a 30-minute curling down, 2-hour curling up. AMD, this one here, the 2-hour was losing it, but it never went negative. I thought that was very interesting. 30-minute here did cross up. It's saying, hey, I'm bouncing right now. If I can go positive, I can go a little bit higher. Okay, that's what that overall says, and maybe I go into a positive trend over time. Meta, this one here looks like it really needs a 30-minute pullback. You got kind of a double top up here, but really needs that 30-minute pullback to start. And then the 2-hour, if that's able to curl over, that's going to be bad news. So I think if this does pull back on a 30-minute, you really don't want this 2-hour to curl over, because you're going to be right by negative territory. So right now you're probably looking for some kind of structure to head higher. And that's why I think the 30-minute is very important for Meta this morning. Microsoft, what do we notice? Well, a bunch of rejection divergences, the momentum just kind of tilting down at this point. So on a 30-minute chart, what do we notice? Well, it's really, really close to that center line, isn't it? It's very, very close. All these divergences have now added up, and you're now close to the center line. So this is when you really want to pay attention to Microsoft, see if it's able to turn into negative territory. Looks kind of weak on the momentum side here. Now for Google, you actually do have a little divergence here. You do have a little divergence on the MACD, a little divergence on the RSI here. So that could lead me towards some kind of pullback or a full reversal for the 2 hour to get a pullback. So 2 hour pullback would make sense. We'll see what happens with that throughout the rest of the day. AMC early on today, we'll see if this thing is able to curl up on a 2 hour. That's the important thing that it didn't do that GME did. So we'll pay attention to that. And as we're seeing right now, well, it's trying to get that cross up. Okay, so the reason we're paying attention to this cross up is because the last time we crossed up around this area, we saw some big moves. All right, so that's why we want to pay attention to it. And 536 if we want to see some kind of squeeze. All right, now GameStop, what do we notice here? It's still curled up. So, okay, so it has 2 curl up bars as of right now. We'll pay attention to that because it's actually higher up than last time it crossed over before the last big move. That's why this is the one to really pay attention to right now. And the 30-minute is trying to go positive. It really is trying to go positive. You have some divergences down here. It's trying to go positive. We'll see if that's able to remain positive. But remember, anytime this 30-minute curls over, especially if it's close to the center line, that does mean that the stock will be pulling back, heading down, whatever it may be. So we're paying attention to it, but nice. Okay, we got some good stuff going on today. As far as it goes with volatility, we did see a pop in that, but I haven't necessarily seen like a dramatic rise to get this positive, to get the 2 hour to really start curling up. You know, the 2 hour curling up is my overall good signal I like to pay attention to with the VIX. Right now, what I'm thinking is we could set up some kind of base, right? If we set up a stronger base, that's all I want to see is a stronger base. If we don't make that stronger base, then this isn't going to, volatility is not going to come back in. But as of right now, I think this type of look would be very nice for volatility. We'll see if that comes to fruition. TLT dropping off, and yeah, that's kind of a big deal. And gold not confirming the divergence that we had. So we had divergence down here for gold. That one did not confirm. You see that drop off dramatically. So this flagging here adding up to something, dropping off dramatically for gold. So that looked like a very likely scenario for a bounce as we've ripped back and forth. But you notice this time it did not confirm. Okay, so it never confirmed. That's why we can't front run stuff. SMCI, this one here, might need the stronger base as well. Do you see it? It's just trying to kind of gradually curl up. Then it would do this. Maybe that would be very, very telling for SMCI. I think that would be good. What did Palantir do lately? I know it's been giving up a lot of the gains. Yeah, see this. So this curvature of the MACD, you start to curl over right here. You can test the low, go make a new one. The only other thing we would say is the 2 hour is trying to curl up right now. So this could be an overall pullback. You just want to react to whichever one happens in front of you. Now the dollar last night did sell off with the, or did rise as the market started to drop off a little bit. So we'll pay attention to that. So the market did drop off a little bit here and the dollar did rise. So we'd have to take that into consideration this morning. What are you guys up to? Everyone having a good morning? Everyone got their coffee ready to go? Come on, GME. Is Nvidia still a buy? Well, that's kind of up to how your strategies are working out, because right now your 2 hours negative, right now your 30 minutes negative, or well, it's going positive as of right now. So if that rolls over, it's going to be negative. It's pretty close to it. So is it a buy yet? I mean, I can't really tell you what to do with your money, but I can tell you that momentum for the 30-minute is going positive. If that curls over, it's going to be negative. The 2 hour has not curled up yet, even though it's very, very close. Sometimes they make it very, very close, reject, right? So they make it as close as possible to trick as many people as possible. But if you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, guys, we've done this plenty of times. No, this is not a good investment for a long time. This is probably not a good investment for 12 to 24 months. And I'm just telling you that because that's what the MACD is saying. The MACD is saying, hey, I'm way freaking overbought. Yeah, I could go higher, but over the next 12 to 24 months, I'm most likely going to be at lower prices than where we're at right now. That's what that overall says. And if not, right? You're still being patient, wanting to see some kind of basing out, wanting to see this get by the center line and then curl up, right? Even if it's way up here, you still want this structure in order to, make a decision. That's overall what it means, is like, this is a time to be patient, wait for the structure to form, at least on like a weekly or a monthly chart, as far as investing goes. Alrighty, let's spread these out. Let's see what you guys are chatting about. Yeah, NVIDIA investor meeting coming. Yeah, I saw a DJT. There's some crazy price action with this guy right now, right? Curling way up. You do have some 30-minute divergences here. What I'd really like to see from DJT, I mean, as a trader, what I'd really like to see is a 2-hour divergence. A 2-hour divergence would be beautiful here. If you just had one more drop down, you create a strong base. Oh my gosh, then the daily side would look juicy if that thing curled back up with some kind of double bottom. Hey, there you go, Scott. Apple fading, GME flat, AMC kind of getting pushed down right now. We'll see what happens with this for the rest of the day. But GME did curl up, so now you just want to pay attention to that. If that 2-hour curls back down, the signal's gone, right? The signal's gone for now. So that's something to pay attention to. The signal would be gone if this thing curls back down. Could pop after the debate. I mean, if everyone's expecting a pop after the debate, then maybe market makers are expecting it to pop after the debate as well. So just be a little bit careful with that style. It's kind of like with the GameStop and AMC thing. It's kind of like, hey, why are we're thinking it's going to pop today? Well, so is the market maker. If the market maker has the information, then so does if the retail traders have the information, then so does the market maker, and therefore they can program it to be like, we can just short sell the crap out of this to manipulate the algorithm, right? Right now you're seeing Mara start to curl up. Let's take a quick look over at Bitcoin. I know this has been dropping and dropping and dropping. No real good structure for this base, actually. Still no good structure for this base. So I would like a better structure, but if the 4-hour is able to curl up, okay, that's able to curl up as well, you still could go make that base for the 4-hour. So the only way that this wouldn't need that stronger base is if the daily had fully crossed up. That has not happened yet. So maybe this does have a more extended move in it. I think a 2-hour is great to watch for Bitcoin. See how it's trying to go positive, it just can't. See if it goes negative. Okay, we create a strong base. Boom, little trigger there for the 4-hour and the 2-hour to get pretty positive. Oh, I believe in Bitcoin. I just think that there's a lot of risk to Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of risk to Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. I like it probably better than our dollar right now. I mean, our dollar is just worthless. It has nothing behind it, but Bitcoin is super reliant on electricity, right? It's really reliant on the infrastructure, and who controls the infrastructure? Your governments, right? Your governments, for the most part, control the infrastructure, so the deep state controls your infrastructure, and therefore, if you go anywhere against your government or the deep state, we have a government in right now, we have a political party in right now, well, not really the party, what am I trying to say? We have a current acquisition of the White House that I believe would do something like, hey, if they need to, they would just shut down the infrastructure and just cause chaos. I genuinely believe they're willing to do whatever it takes right now to just ruin everything in the country. And I'm hoping that doesn't spread over to other, sides. I know it's both sides that are kind of controlled by a bunch of big companies who just lobby to them. But right now, you would say you'd have to just call balls and strikes right now. We're seeing pretty bad things for our economy, for our whole social structure, for our infrastructure, for everything. Because I bought more of the ETFs that I am in now, and I'm getting $430 a month, all paid the first week of the month. That's not bad, Robert. That's pretty good. But yeah, so the danger with Bitcoin though is like if they shut off the internet, you just can't do anything. So that's why like them taking away cash is such a bad thing, because if the infrastructure does shut down in any way, cyber attack, whatever it may be, that would leave the community in just a complete chaotic state because you'd have no way to trade for goods. So what I think is if you're going to buy Bitcoin, yeah, I think it goes lower. I still think it goes lower, but I'm just saying when I buy Bitcoin, I'm also going to be buying gold at the same time. See if change. Nvidia setting up to move. I mean, it was. I'd really like to see if this 2 hour confirms it, but the 30-minute not looking the strongest here. It doesn't have to look strong, right? We can just see that head upward. That's fine. But what I'm saying here is, I, as a trader, like to do highly probable moves. So if I was to take this, or even take it right now, well, what if this 30-minute just did this, right? Curled back down on the MACD. Okay, so what I'm saying would be a better base would be either a higher low or some kind of double bottom or some kind of dip down lower, some kind of divergence down here that tells me, hey, momentum has really died out. The buyers are stepping back in. Go, go, go. That's what I would overall like to see from Nvidia from a trading perspective, because I want, sure, the MACD is pointing up, positive territory on the 30-minute, but me, myself, how I use these indicators, I really want a highly probable base, right? I don't just want a V-shaped base all the time unless it's on like a daily or a weekly chart. But what I do want is to see a strong base for a 30-minute chart. And since I'm looking at a 30-minute chart, I know crazy things can happen. So I want to be aware of that and make sure I'm taking just some kind of stronger base at least before I see a bounce. No way. Whoa, FFIE, look at that thing. Oh shit, that's funny. Tesla. Ooh, Tesla. Okay, so now Tesla's at its weekly expected move, by the way. It did it. Congratulations, Tesla. You played yourself. Yeah, this is already at the weekly expected move. So, there you go. Weekly expected move for Tesla. I would, if you're trading this, I'd expect to be ripped around a little bit the rest of the week if we're hitting that right now. Okay, let's go over to the SPY real quick. I don't know why my headphones like won't connect. Trying to bounce. Still bouncing. Still okay. That one's big. I think Amazon might go for that 30-minute push again. Interesting. And then Nvidia, we'll see what happens with that. What's the PCC? Ooh, a lot of calls coming in. 0.79 for the PCC. GME remaining positive. That's a good sign. You really need AMC to probably participate as well. But look at that 437 level we were talking about. Good solid bounce from there. We'll see what happens. We'd like to see a more solid bounce from some support like that. But it is a good thing that it's holding this 2 hour right now. You need to hold that for a long period of time. SMCI flip back to positive here. 2 hour curls up. You might see the next big move. 30 minutes trying to go positive. I'd still like a stronger base. Doesn't mean you get one all the time, and it doesn't mean I take a trade, right? If I'm taking a swing trade, I need to be in the mentality of taking a swing trade. A swing trade is a thing right here. Right here is a swing trade for SMCI, and you just got to pay attention, make sure that 30-minute doesn't roll back down. But if this one prints, you have an hour and 42 minutes. If this one prints like this, this is kind of a swing trader's setup. See what's going on out there today. Yeah, people were saying a bunch of calls coming into GME yesterday. I didn't necessarily see that too much, but it would make sense for that price action at the end of the day. All right, let's look at Apple for a second. That thing could pop up, but I just watch out. You only got like 3 points in front of you, maybe, before you start to see that resistance come in with the weekly expected move, so we'll pay attention to it. The dollar's still climbing as of right now. And the SPY's trying to bounce, but we'll see what happens with that. We already know the dollar's higher and the stock market's higher. That's the two main points, right? That's the two main things to pay attention to. That means the insiders are still selling in troves, really. So Nvidia maybe sees that quick move. We'll see. If it would move up, I'd say probably this crosses and we go to like 135, 136. GME flashing back to negative. Interesting. What the hell, TLT? Yeah, TLT, so that means the yields, right? Yields heading higher. It really fell off a cliff, didn't it? So TLT, you still had to pay attention to the 30-minute crossing, right? This wasn't necessary. It did show it like was breaking out. Did that confirm? Nope, it did not confirm. It looked like the most likely scenario. It really did. You're positive territory. This means more work to be done. So we'll see what happens with that going forward. And then the 10-year yield, you're seeing this thing start to grow. So we'll see what's happening on the daily scale here. Hey, we're starting to turn up on the daily scale. So maybe we get some kind of retest now of some area in between our two like important lines. I think that would be likely here. Because I just don't think. Do we know why the yield's headed higher? Like, do they at least give you a reason? Because I know it's going to probably head higher because the daily's crossing over. If that daily crosses over, that's going to mean, hey, it's heading higher. That's overall what I think. But I'm like, yields, why would they be going higher today? Hmm. Yeah, no real reason. Let me see if there's like data coming out. I mean, new home sales comes out in about 9 minutes. Tomorrow we get GDP growth rate. Previous was 3.4 for the GDP, and this time supposed to come in at 1.3 and 1.3, so showing the slowing of growth. We'll see how people read into that. Do they see slowing of growth? Oh, no more inflation. Okay, market go up. Or do they see slowing of growth, bad economy? Okay, downside is the most likely option. We'll see. I think tomorrow's GDP is more important than any data we get today. Then we get core PCE after that tomorrow or on Friday. PLT, what a rejection. A lot of divergences here on the dollar. Like if you go look at the dollar on a 4-hour, you have a lot of divergences here asking for like some kind of new trend to start maybe. So it is dying out to the upside. The only reason I'm like skeptical to say that is just because, hey, this thing's been rising and rising and rising, and we have not seen the market really fall while the dollar has risen. As you can see, the SPY is still at higher levels. So from right here, the dollar and the SPY have been rising at the same time. This is not most likely enough of a pullback to catch up to that dollar. XLU dropping off. Is that the weekly? 68, 74. Yeah, so this is the weekly expected moves for this. And that's starting to drop off again. So eventually we will catch up to utilities. Daily is crossing over as of right now for the SPY, so we need some strength here. I think 30 minutes probably the best thing to watch for the SPY right now. What stocks are you guys looking at? Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, the yen is really suffering and all their bank turmoil going on right now. Oh yeah, Rivian. I heard the news about Rivian. Damn. Did you guys hear about the guy who placed a trade on this? Like there's definitely got to be some insider shit going on here cuz there was someone who put like a call for way up here for like 12 cents for this Friday and he bought $25,000 worth and I think he's like worth 2.5 million dollars now. There's a guy that did that. He like placed a trade here and then for like way up here and now it's way up here. So like that's crazy. But yeah, apparently that value is about to it went from 12 cents to $5.30 per contract. So that's kind of wild. Ooh, curling down. You're in a 2-hour pullback as of right now for this guy. What has a firm been up to? Ooh, curling down on a 2-hour would not be the best news. Looks like you tried to curl up on a 30-minute and failed. Yeah, you failed right here. So you failed coming down. So now you're pointing down. You still could pay attention anytime that rotates back up. But right now it looks like 2-hour. Maybe we want to set up a stronger base. This one right here might not be strong enough. Maybe we want to do that. That would make a lot of sense to me. Laughably rich, now spend it wisely. Yeah. Hopefully they allowed him to sell those contracts. KLE. XLE? Because this is energy. Ooh, that's not the best look. That looks like a 30-minute divergence up here to cross over this 2-hour. So the 2-hour could pull back from here. And the reason I'm saying that is because that looks like a 30-minute, yeah, that looks like 30-minute divergence all the way across the top. So you see the divergences across the top here, kind of flat, right? And then it goes into more steep. So more steep at the double top. So if this thing wants to roll negative, well, now you can pay attention, see if the 2-hour is able to roll over in this area, because that would make a lot of sense now. Some kind of pullback, or maybe even a reversal in trend. We'll see. But for now, it would just say pullback if that crossed over. Let's look at shop real quick. We haven't looked at shop in a day or so. Okay, this 2-hour did cross up. That does not look very strong. So I want to look at this base. I want to see how strong this base is right away. I'm like, okay, 2 hours crossing up. Let me look how strong this base is. Is it pretty good on the divergence side of things? Well, we would say yes, right? You had a divergence down here for this pop. Now you have a divergence for the double bottom. Boom, you pop up. Sure, I got to pay attention to the 30-minute rotating down to curl back up. But other than that, this would say, hey, the 2-hour's got a good likelihood of crossing over and going positive. Boom, there you go. So shop actually looks like, for now, what the MACD is telling you is upside, right? It's saying positive territory, positive trend, positive move. But it's not getting the most strength. So we'll see from here, but that's overall what the MACD is telling you. And I would just pay closely attention to the 30-minute. If I took a trade like this, I'd just be paying attention to a 30-minute. If that rolled over, I'd be out of the trade. I'd just be out. And then if it rolled back up, I'd probably go back in because that's what the MACD is telling me here on the 30 minutes, saying, hey, get out. Okay, not good. Okay, now it's good again. You got it. You know, you just don't want to get faked out too much. You don't want them to take a lot of your money is pretty much it. Is GME taking off? Well, it's up 1.4%. We told you the 2-hour momentum is with you. So this is a time to pay attention, okay? This is the signal that we've really waited for. We had it for a quick moment right here, but then we saw that 30-minute rollover and we said no reason for upside. Boom, no reason for upside. So the reason I'm paying attention to it now is because if that's a strong curl up, if that's a stronger curl up like last time, boom, we saw a big move. So this could be an area where we see a big move. We'll pay attention. Tesla's hitting that weekly expected move. So Tesla's already at the area right now, early on a Wednesday. You still have half the week left, and it's at that weekly expected move. So that would tell me there's a 68% chance that the price of the stock ends lower than right here by Friday. So down in this area would be most likely to land by Friday, 68% chance. Now you do have a 32% chance to see something crazy, but as this is forming divergences, you see them over here, you see them on the RSI, kind of flat on the RSI. We could get some kind of pullback out of that when it's flat, but that could just rotate over and go negative, start to break through 180.92, and we'll see what happens. But for now, you would say my risk to reward for the week is kind of to the downside, actually. Your downside is the risk. Your reward, if you're going higher, is I want to see something crazy happen, but you have a 68% chance to land pretty much where you're at now, like right below this area. I'd watch out for that divergence. The more I learn, the less I know. The Qs, real quick, all you need to see is, well, we need that 2 hour to rotate up. Now, what I'm saying would be probably the most likely scenario here is the 30-minute runs into some trouble. You notice we just bounced up. We're really close to the center line. I, as a trader, want to see highly probable trades, so I want to see a solid base before I take a trade. Sure, it can V-shape, but you started to move sideways here, so if we see any weakness, I'm going to be looking for something like this down here. Something like this that brings us like that, gives us an angle up. Okay, I have divergence, I have it outside of the daily expected move, and boom, that thing can start to head up from there. I just really want to see momentum dying out in order to take a trade, especially in this environment. It goes to infinity. Yeah, you can keep learning as much as you want. What you want to do is learn as much as you can. Like, that's not a bad thing. But what I would say is learn as much as you can and find what things are actually good for you, what helps you make good decisions. That's what I did, and that's why I have weekly ranges, a MACD, an RSI, and I studied divergence. That's pretty much all I did. You know, I know how to do tons and tons and tons of different kinds of trading, but this one is actually the most useful to me. It actually has worked the most I've ever had in all of my trading, and that's what I share with you guys on this channel because it is one of the most simple ways to trade. You just have to, like, the one thing you have to have in order to trade like this is like patience. Patience. Because if you're not patient, you can run into this. I thought this was a good setup. I almost took this setup. I really did, but that didn't cross over. So I was waiting for today. Even if I see a gap up, maybe there's some upside there. But you see the 30-minute divergence. Boom, we see that on the MACD. We see that on the RSI. The only problem is it hasn't confirmed, so I'm patient. There was nothing in here to get me in early, so I said I got to be weary. Even though it looks like a good setup, boom, it drops to the downside. So this is why being patient can really help you out with my strategies. Paramount. I've never looked at Paramount. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be a 2 hour. Yeah. Okay, so when Paramount goes down, first of all, I'd be careful with Paramount. This thing looks a little rough, but you've broken through. You're getting the next leg down. You started to try to taper a little. Now I think you need to taper a little bit more. Okay, so I think we need to do something like this. You see the angle like this? Okay, now I'd like to see the angle change a little bit and go like this, and then start to reverse from there. I think that would be a good look. You get a little divergence, and then you have a long-term play there for Paramount. On the daily scale, you would have that. But right now, not a lot of structure here. If anything, it's just saying, hey, the next leg down is coming. SMCI just giving it up. Oof. Not a good look. No real hint on the 2 hour. Did the 30-minute have at least a divergence here? It did. Okay, so this right here was a signal of weakness. And this is why in the market, you got to be kind of like trade like water. You got to be adaptable because a little signal like this can lead to something like that. Now, this was earnings, so it's a 50-50 flip. We don't really trade around earnings, but if you wanted a sign of weakness before this earnings came out, well, it's right here. You see the lower move. Yeah, now it is a little bit lower on these bars, but this bar right here, right there at yesterday at 9:30, it literally told you, hey, there is no reason for upside right now. And it said, hey, no reason continued for upside right now, obviously with the move down for General Mills. Now, if you want to look from investment standpoint, well, you'd say, hey, there's buyers down in this area, so maybe we get a reaction from here, right? You'd say there's some pretty good support down in these areas, so we most likely get some kind of reaction here, but is that a dead cat bounce? Because There's a problem, and that's the daily just crossed over again, right? The daily just crossed over very dramatically again. You're below the 200. You had divergences up here. Boom, there's a good divergence for you. There's even a multiple point divergence for you right here. So from this point on, it said no reason for upside, and it's literally right here on this bar. It's a great trade because the bar happened pretty early on. So actually, ever since the price point of about 70.50, this thing has not set upside. Pretty cool, actually. I really like looking at that one. That's nice. New home sales are down that much? Yeah, I knew it was bad, but geez. New home sales month over month down 11.3%. Watch out. My gosh, inventory might come back into the housing market. It's not a good thing for housing price. Well, it is a good thing if you're trying to buy a house. It's going to be cheaper houses if more houses keep going on the market and people just don't sell them. It's a negative percentage there. All right, now we're trying to bounce a little bit more. Nvidia, see if you're able to curl up. It looks like this thing might just V-shape now. We'll see what happens. If this thing just V-shapes, I think the lower high scenario adds up even more. I need to get a haircut. My hairstylist had a kid, so she's gonna be gone till August. Need a new hairstylist. Grace, quit being gross. You're licking your paw and it sounds yucky. Yeah, Rivian just has the massive gap up. I mean, like, you want to look at it. It's like, yeah, we can look at it, but there's nothing to say about this. There's really nothing to say about it. It's just, it's a cool move. I think the most interesting thing is the fact that someone just randomly put $25,000 for Friday up here in these calls for 12 cents a piece, $25,000 worth at 12 cents. And now he's a $2 millionaire, right? He's worth over $2 million with that one trade. So a little fishy there, I would say. But 2 hour curled up here. If you wanted to be contrarian, I get it. That's fine. Did I have any reversal signals? Actually, yeah, you did. You had a 30-minute divergence right down here. So right down here, it said, hey, potential to reverse the trend, and it never crossed back over. Boom, it goes positive. There's the big move. So they just got some random good news, and I think someone knew about that before. Like, there's no way you just put 25 grand randomly into Rivian. MU, yeah, I heard MU's been doing some funky stuff too. So curling down, it pretty much like looks like a same thing as, like, say Tesla or something like that. I think this was just a zone for us, right? These purple lines here. So what do we need to see? 2 hours still needs to curl up. So that would mean 30-minute most likely looks a lot like Nvidia. Yeah, it's trying to curl up. Now this isn't as scoopy. This looked like a rejection right here. Okay, so that's a little different. You got a rejection here. So if this goes positive, that could mean the 2 hour is going to roll up, right? So we'll pay attention to that. But it's pretty much a swing trader, right? This is pretty much a swing trade. And what you're seeing is it crossed up. Okay, awesome. Now you just need that MACD to confirm that momentum going up. And it's all good because the RSI is above the center line, the price action's above the 9, and it's above the 20, and it's above the 50, all at the same time. It's above the 200. This is all good stuff. And then you just need that MACD to curl up for that extra confirmation there. Yeah, FFIE up like 40% or something. Yeah, it's very hard to see those setups. It's very hard to tell when something like FFIE is going to pop. It really is. It's kind of a matter of luck at that point, I think. But hey, maybe there's someone who knows how to research it correctly. You never know. There's always someone who probably knows better information about a single stock if they're really focused on it. Tesla now well outside of its weekly expected move. At least I'm like 99% sure. Yeah, it's well outside of it now. We have a lot of calls coming into the market, guys. A lot of calls coming into the market today. Volatility dropping off. Dollar starting to wick out a little bit there. That's a lot of calls coming into the market right there. 0.74. That's pretty, you got to pay attention to that a little bit. GME, is it all over? Well, the 2 hour is still curled up. It's not going to be easy. So this is still crossed up. So what we really need to see, if you're going to say, hey, more negativity is coming, the 30-minute has to roll over, okay? So I've studied GME. Mainly I studied AMC because most of the price action happened for GME in like the post-market or pre-market or the night market. So what I wanted to say about, AMC was this guy, when it curled up on a 30-minute, it never curled back down until it was reaching a very, very big high. So if you're thinking like, hey, the squeeze is coming or something like that, it's like, yeah, there's divergence down here. But if this 30-minute curls over, then that's just not the signal. It means downside potential. And you got to wait for that to curl back up. That's just what the momentum is telling you. It's like, hey, I'm negative. So therefore, if I ever cross down, then I'm probably going to show you more negativity, right? It's the same thing for GME. It's like, hey, I'm really close to negative. I'm positive. That's a better sign. But if I just curl over, where would I be? I'd be negative. So that would mean, hey, test the logo, make a new one. Okay. But for now, we just have to say, hey, it's positive in positive territory. That's awesome. We'll see what happens. But this is actively fought against, and we keep mentioning that over and over. It's going to rip you all around. Yeah, XLU is dropping dramatically again. That's some simple simple jack. Holy shit, that's so random, but FFIE's up 120% right now? Holy shit, I thought it was only up like 40%. Dang it, my $30 YOLO play for FFIE was last week. Darn. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Simple Jack and like who's the guy that played Iron Man? He's like black, he's doing blackface in the movie. And he totally got away with it, and I think that's hilarious. Yeah, XLU, this is not what you want to see, man. This is once again a very, very bad thing. And eventually we will catch up. But it looks like we want to make it some kind of... You're going to start to see wicks from Tesla. I just don't think there's enough steam behind this to see something crazy unless some crazy news comes out. But as of right now, that weekly expected move, you're still above it right now. So you have a 68% chance to land at least down here by Friday. So even if you see something crazy, you still have that 68% chance. But you have a 32% chance to see something crazy. As you're seeing wicks come in, little less likely, but if we can pile up right at it for a while, right, we just kind of pile up in this area and then see a burst through, kind of like Apple did that 1 week. That would make sense, right? Apple, I believe it was right here. See how it's kind of like sitting by the weekly expected move this week, this past week that happened, right? Back June 11th. And then we pile up for a second and then boom, we burst through it with some good news. So it's kind of like it could do the same thing. We'll pay attention to it. It could do the same thing. Robert Downey Jr., yeah, that's it. Thoughts on the SPY? It's pretty simple, actually. I think this is very, very simple. It's 30-minute curls down, 2 hour curls up, and I genuinely believe it's that simple. If the 2 hour curls up, it's a swing trade. It's literally a swing trade. Like the last time we got some good swing trades, hey, maybe it was down in this area. You're above these, you get above the moving averages, boom, there you go. And then, hey, a couple bars later, that confirms on the MACD down here, and boom, big upside. So I think what you're looking for here is just a curl up of this MACD or some kind of closing above all the moving averages for a 2 hour bar. You need that full closing bar, especially if this hasn't crossed over yet. But it's just swing trading, which is something that I'm looking into making a course for, swing trading and crypto trading. Kind of making it in the same zone. just because some people emailed me they just want to learn how to swing trade, and I think that's fine. You still need to know about the MACD and RSI to swing trade, like for sure, and you need to know about moving averages a little bit more swing trading. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, Martin. I'm thinking about making it cheap too, because it's just going to be a pretty brief one. I mean, swing trading is it's actually pretty damn simple. It's just you got to make sure to get it right, and I think managing your risk is just as good in swing trading. I was thinking of just making a very, very brief little one. Yeah, G-Wave I haven't seen really anything from. Look at that thing. It's just dead. Like this one you can say is dead, right? Because the daily's down here in negative territory. Now you are making divergences. Hey, that's interesting. You're starting to make divergences. Wow. Maybe a big move could come. We'll see. But it's something that's actively fought against, right? It looks like it's actively fought against because this looks more pump and dumpy than GME and AMC. It really does. All right, let's see. Let's go 15-minute for a second. Let's see what the structure looks like here. Solid little 15-minute divergence for the bounce. But is it enough to remain positive? That's kind of the key thing. Is it remaining positive, or is this going to curl over and go negative? We'll see. 437 looks really important. FFI. Dollar screaming down. Okay, so that could be some buying coming in, but the put call ratio is 0.74, so that'd be interesting. It's coming down. We'll see if that's just like, the thing is, you got to see it strong on 2-hour bars. Okay, so we need some strong 2-hour bars here to convince us, hey, this is insider buying. If it's just going to like trickle, if it just stays up in these areas or trickles down just a little bit, then that just might be retail making some position moves. Or a couple of institutions, but right now your PCC at 0.75, so very interesting to see there. I think the main one to pay attention to for this is Nvidia on a 30-minute, right? Nvidia holds so much weight now. Intel? Oh, I'm down to look at Intel, man. There's your bounce there. This is your divergence here. Very good little bounce. Now you're kind of moving sideways. So I still see some problems in it, right? If we start to lose these levels, that wouldn't be the best. So what I want to look for is like daily scale. What do we look like? Yeah, I'd still be careful with this kind of structure, because you could see some kind of rapid move down to here. Because of the daily going up like this, it still can turn down and go negative. Now you did have an RSI divergence right here, but that could just lead to sideways price action. You're getting sideways price action. You really haven't gotten that confirmation of upside. Now it's very, very tight, which doesn't mean bullish, right? It means bullish and bearish. So if this crosses down, that's not going to be a good sign. That's just not going to be a good sign. So maybe we need to even back out to like a weekly and see, hey, has this curled up? No. So is this a good investment right now, at least from the weekly scale? Well, the MACD would tell you not yet, right? That's what the MACD is saying here. The daily saying, hey, I'm curving up towards that center line. I've moved sideways. A big drop can come or a big pump can come. We'll see. But to me, what you have to lean towards when you're down in this area, you say, hey, this is a contrarian bullish signal. Okay. But have we seen any bullish price action? No. Now, that could just flip up and go positive, okay, but you have to be prepared if this crosses over for downside for Intel. You have to be prepared for that. Where would I pay attention to? This line right here. I think this is a great area right here. It's very simple. $24.64 right in there. Looks like a good level. If you drop down like that, you can drop down that quick. Maybe you see a divergence down here and then you start to V-shape recover. That would be nice. Apple, did you end up curling up on your 2-hour? You're trying to. You are trying to, but literally Apple only has a few points left. Like 1.5 points left. Yeah, it's just be cautious. It's like if you're investing, you can like, you know, people cost average in and things like that. And just in case it makes the move up, okay, I get it. But to say like, I'm going to throw my house at it when you see that dramatic price action to the downside is very, very, I'll say risky to do. Let's look at Amazon for a brief moment here, just seeing how we've unconfirmed that 2-hour crossing now. So this is where the 30-minute comes into play. Hey, we see a cross up on the 30-minute. We can see more positivity. How high up can Amazon go for the week? Well, we can go a lot higher, actually. We can go a lot higher for Amazon here. Okay, so pay attention to that, because you can go a lot higher for Amazon, and you're not curling over confirming that divergence anymore. That's why you got to wait for it a little bit. Even though it looks like, hey, this looks like, hey, downside is potential there, you still have a lot of upside left for the week. I think it's something around 193. And then as far as, what is CMG, by the way? Oh, Chipotle. Oh, Chipotle. Weren't you worth like 20 cents a couple weeks ago? Curled up on the 2-hour, and then you see this spike down, and now it's remaining back up. That's some funky behavior. Oh, it has a split in it too. Yeah, that's right. This was worth like a lot the last time we looked. So the split, you're seeing what happens with that. Right now, though, your momentum indicators are just saying, hey, I curled up on a 2-hour, which means, hey, test the high, go make a new one. That's what they're telling you at this moment. So you really want to pay closely attention if you're swing trading with that. You just got to pay attention to this 30-minute and see if that crosses over at any time. So do you notice this? It looked like it was going to cross, and then it just wicks right back up. So we're not crossed yet. But if that does, you can see dramatic selling. So you see that wick. And that means you can test this low. You can go a little bit lower and start some kind of negative trend. So you're really looking for a 2-hour to pop up, maybe in some kind of swing trade, which I believe you're already in, right? The swing trader position would be here, and then you're just hoping that you're just sitting there watching this MACD, watching your 30-minute for curl overs until that thing confirms and goes positive. Right now it's going positive. So the most likely scenario from here for Chipotle, as it is positive, is test the high, go higher. But you have to pay attention to the other side. Stocks can go up, stocks can go down at any time. So if this 30-minute curls down, there's nothing that will make that 2-hour keep going up. Right, you got to see that 30-minute come down and curl back up in order to take that position again. And maybe you'll get a cheaper price, right? That'd be great. Yeah, we're just teaching you how to read these momentum indicators here, so. Thank you guys for liking. You guys gotta like the channel, you know? You gotta like these videos. You gotta like them. Oh, we pay attention to mostly the whole stock market, AMC, pusher, whatever. We pay attention to the most of the stock market. We like barely go over and look at AMC and GME. We just look at it when it confirms something. It confirmed 2-hour cross up. That's a good sign, right? We're pretty chill in this chat. We like to look at multiple different things. Yeah, Nvidia is a little tough because you're kind of like, are they just going to send it higher in a V shape, or are they going to make the stronger base? That's why it's like, I like to just wait until there's the stronger base. If it V shapes, like, cool, whatever, I'll invest. If it curls up on a monthly, awesome. But for now, it's just like, hey, 30-minute curls down. Okay, then I want to make the stronger base, and maybe this bounce will be more sustainable. The DAX looks crazy. Not bright enough to short. Yeah, shorting is more difficult than just buying calls, right? Any chance for it to see 135 today? I mean, there's always a chance if this 2-hour can curl up. If this 2-hour can curl up, yes, you can see 135. That is possible. Pretty much if you're asking if something's possible, anything's possible. It's just what percentage possible are we talking here? What percentage possible are we talking? Is it possible that Nvidia goes to $1,000 today? Yes. Is it probable? Very, 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 very low probability, right? So can it hit 135? Yes. If it crosses on this 2-hour, that looks like the most likely scenario for the next few days, right? Because we target those weekly expected moves, we gravitate towards them. But around that area, is that going to go to a new all-time high? Well, considering that there's a 68% chance we land below that 135, 136 area by the end of the week, if you're not just like making a massive move, gapping up, seeing this used as support and going, then you're most likely not going to see that. So the two scenarios are, hey, yeah, 2-hour curls up, curls back down, and we get that lower high, right? I think that's a good scenario there. And then the other ones are on the 30-minute, and I would say, hey, maybe we need some structure. So structure would mean boom like this, stronger base. Okay, that's your other scenario, I think, for right now. And then if you're looking for the scenario for this to go to a new all-time high, well, what you're most likely going to see is some kind of big push past 136, be able to hold up in that area and then curl up one more time for that new all-time high. I think that would be the most likely scenario there, to see a new all-time high. As of this week, it really looks like lower high is the most probable thing. I don't know if Rivian will rip up more. Solid move. Solid move. Little 30-minute divergence is actually called the move. So if you were paying attention to a 30-minute, you just, you know, it's like we pay attention to a 30-minute. Sometimes you get lucky and the move is bigger, and that looked like it. But it really did look like someone did some insider trading there in some way. Someone knew something to put $25,000 for this Friday. It's kind of crazy. Should I sell my whole portfolio and just refresh everything? If you think it helps your mentality, I'm not going to tell you yes or no, but I would just say, like, if your mentality seems not the best right now, maybe that would be a smart idea. I don't know. I mean, I know I've done that before. I've had like 4 trades going at the same time, and then I'm like stressed out about all of them. So as they start to break even, I just get out of every single one. I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, I've been holding this for 2 days. They're not making the move. I'm breaking even. Let me get the hell out, right? And then I can reset. It's kind of like hitting a reset button. Who hasn't hit the like button yet? Call them out. Call them out. Call them out. Call them out. I bet you I could point out someone who hasn't hit it yet. Christine. Just kidding, just kidding. Roll call. I was thinking about making, like, you know, the $5 support or something, so we can have like subscriber only chat and or whatever. Do some streams for that, and just your $5 to join the class, and I'll like read out roll call every single morning. And then like to what, like 1,000, I'm reading 1,000 names in the morning every morning. Thank you for liking Adventure with Shogun. I'm 50% invested right now and trading like water. Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear, Kunik. Christine, I love you. Oil. I have not looked at oil. Whoa. Well, we need to look at a 2-hour. Yeah, so now you're setting up the higher or the lower high. I don't think this is a good look for oil personally. I really don't. I think this is kind of a bad look, honestly. It looks like that daily might roll over soon. Now, the good part about this, the very good part about this, is you saw the strong move, and now we're just kind of piling up. So I don't personally like this look of a 2-hour right now, right? But we could maybe zoom out a little bit. Let's look at a 4-hour. Look at the 4-hour. If that 4-hour curls up, breaks through this high, yeah, you could have another big move, okay? But it's just personally on the 2-hour, I'm kind of seeing some wonky stuff here that if it starts to break down, we might head down to these type of levels very soon. Let's see if USO maybe clears up a little bit, shows us better signals. Yeah, there you go. So 4-hour pullback looks very likely. That's a massive move. That's a big ass move. You have a rejection divergence at the top as well right now. So if USO is going to go head higher, you're going to see that 2-hour cross up. Maybe even a 30-minute crossing up would be something to pay attention to. You see the steep divergence. You see how steep that is? This is a great one to pay attention to. Now, if there's another move higher, what if we go up towards that 80.50 level, 80.52 level we've been paying attention to, and then you see that start to fade and we get another point of divergence? That would be rough. But as of right now, it looks like 30-minute could cross up, and that might be a good thing. USO and the US oil, you could probably see a 4-hour curl up too. Chipotle, right? That was CGM. I don't look at CMG. I don't look at Chipotle very often, but Chipotle, you're really just looking at this 30-minute right now, and you're saying, okay, this is a rejection divergence down here at the lows. You can see the rejection right there. Okay, now we're going positive, but I'm still within range of going negative. So before I say like, hey, I can 2-hour swing trade this and this is crossing and all that, yeah, sure, maybe you take that, but a swing trader would also be paying attention to their risk. So what I'm telling you to do is, like, if I was in this trade right here, I'd immediately be looking at a 30-minute right here and being like, I don't like the look of this too much. If this curls down, then that means downside, and look at that start to curl down, and you're very close to negative territory, which means, hey, we can take out this level, we can head lower. I already saw that selling slightly come in, so right now I would say, hey, I'm going to be patient, right? if that 30-minute curls down, I can still be patient. And then if that curls right back up, well, then I'm crossing up right by positive territory. That's a totally different story. That's a very bullish thing, right? So I think you just got to be a little bit patient. Make sure this 30-minute is not fully crossing over, fully going negative. I think that would be a very bad thing for Chipotle, at least for the near term. And then you got to see if some kind of divergences are set up down here, or maybe it wants to make a divergence in the near term, right? Make it not with this point at all. Just come over here and go whoop. That would be a better look. So I'm just someone who is very, very patient. I'm not trying to get into random trades all the time. You can see how patient I am. I'm always talking about the structure I'm looking for in a few hours to take the trade. That's more so how I do things. And that's what the reason I say all that stuff out loud is just to encourage you guys to do the same, because it will help you out. Oil tends to climb. Yeah, and I'm not saying it can't. I'm liking that oil, US oil. I'm really liking that this is piling up, is what I'm saying. See how it's piling up in this area? I like that for the bullish side for the 4 hour. For the 4 hour curling up. But I'm saying right now for the 2 hour, this is not the best looking structure right here. Okay? Because you're rolling over and going negative. You can start to lose this low, you start to lose that, you go into a negative trend on the 2 hour scale. It's just not looking the best. But that doesn't mean if the 4 hour curls up and breaks through this high that it's not bullish. I'm just paying attention to two things at the same time and trying to make a decision. Would I trade this? Well, it looks a little bit choppy, right? Looks choppy right now. So I'd probably wait till things are a little bit more clear. GME hasn't curled up on a 4 hour. You see the last 4 hour curl up, boom. I think we're going to see an update of Roaring Kitty's position soon. Maybe after this week. Thoughts on Root? Yeah, someone's mentioned Root. This guy here, bunch of little divergences, by the way, a bunch of little divergences. Another rejection divergence here, diverges across. There's tons of divergences in this. This looks like an okay setup. I'm just gonna say it right now. Like that right there looks like a very bullish contrarian signal, and now that bullish contrarian signal is just turning bullish. Now you can't see pullbacks in the overall move. We want to look at the daily scale. That was able to cross up, so you at least got a bounce. I would say more so this heads to like the 50, right? Because the 50 is sitting right at a key level. You see these wicks right here coming in right where that 50 is. You see when we break below this level, we don't want to hold down there too long. And then you see in the past, hey, when we retested that level, then we came back up, we saw that big dramatic move, and then we tested it again. We tested it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then we see the big move. So this level, very, very important here. And I think that's where we maybe go for a retest soon. But you have to pay attention to your risk, right? You're kind of late in the move if you're looking at it right now. Technically, the times to buy were like any kind of contrarian buy signal, which was right here. Let me see, right here on this bar right here was a great contrarian signal, okay? And then you kind of have a divergence over here across the way. So a bunch of divergences, but this right here was the last scale-in opportunity. Very, very good to see that. And then you see that pop up. Now you want to pay attention to your risk. 30-minute, if that curls down, hey, that could curl right back up. It's positive territory, right? It's positive. But if that curls down and goes negative, that'd be a bad sign. So what I'm saying here is like this would be a very good look to take a position, right? We dip back down into the area where we just formed a good base. Little dip down. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Daily scale's up, so I'd say, you know, if we can remain positive here for the 30-minute, we don't go back to negative, right? Then I'd say that 50 looks pretty likely. The inventory came out too high, so supply too high, demand the same. What does that mean? Prices go down. Simple economics. Kind of like the housing market. Right now, you're not seeing home sales. But what if people keep selling their houses? Well, supply goes higher, demand stays the same, or even comes down. It's negative right now, so it's coming down still. Well, you're going to see a huge amount of inventory. That's just a supply-demand chart right there. RBRK. What's RBRK? Rubric. Ooh, 2 hour, not the best divergence there. Not the best divergence here. You see it on the MACD a little bit, but I think this has an opportunity to go create a stronger base, and then you can see what happens on a 2 hour. Nvidia flipped to negative here, so here's that 30-minute that we need to watch. Here's that 30-minute. Now, it did take back 125, very key level there. I don't know the exact situation. I'd say SMCI, you have a call is what you're overall saying. Well, it's not dead yet or anything, but where's the call at? Yeah, so the 30-minute could go make a stronger base. I can just tell you what's going on in the chart, and you got to make a decision on your own. But right now, the 30-minute, that has not crossed over. If that does cross over, you can see dramatic downside. You can also make a stronger base. So what I would say here is like how I would treat my strategies. If I was trying to go long here, let me just say what I would do if I was trying to go long right here. If I was trying to go long here and then I see this 30-minute curl over in negative territory, I'm risk managed, I'm out of the trade. And then if I see a stronger base, I can get right back in the trade. But the reason that I would be out of the trade if the 30-minute curled back over, curled down, I would wait for that trigger, is just because one, it hasn't curled down yet, that could still be bullish. And two, if it does curl down, what is saying it has to make a stronger base? And then it's gonna bounce, right? Nothing is saying that has to happen. It could potentially go a lot lower, right? It could potentially just fall through the floor. We've seen dramatic moves from SMCI, right? Dramatic moves when it curls down. You see the rejection here of the crossing up, and boom, that goes majorly down. So what I want to pay attention to is if this crosses over, I say, hey, yeah, there's no reason for upside. Let me see if that reason comes back later. And the reason that you want to wait for all that is because if it's not going to do this, and it does something like this, now that 60% could turn into a 100% loss, right? If I'm losing a lot there. So for this area here, though, you're still piled up pretty good and you haven't crossed over. You have not crossed over. So you're really wanting this 2 hour to cross up, which means one thing, the 30-minute, in order for the 2 hour to cross up, this has to keep going up. This cannot roll over and go down. I hope that that was like as helpful as I can be. But you're just reading the indicators. If this turns down, well, something really bad could happen. And then you would say, hey, if I get lucky and this creates a stronger base, maybe I can take the trade, right? Maybe there's some upside there. AMC dropping off, GME dropping off. We'll see if those curl down. Nvidia trying to hold that 125 level. But like, it's hard for me to say when you guys ask me about like a 60% loss or something, because I'm so risk managed that like I'm not even going to use a position that would cause me a ton of stomach pain, right? If I have to lose $1,000, it's like, hey, I know that's part of trading. I'm going to lose $1,000, but at least I'm risk managing and I'm not losing $2,500. You know what I mean? So that really helped me out. Just stop doing like, you know, $10,000, $20,000 plays. Really shrink it down and go to 2 or 3K is what I overall like, and then I can make 50, 100% on certain trade setups. Yeah, and if I lose 1,000, I know like, hey, next week I'm going to see the same setup and it's going to work out. It's just a probabilities game. It didn't work out this time. I'm risk managed, so I don't lose a bunch, and the next time I'll win and I make even more than that money back. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, Sloth. It happens to all of us. We've all been through it. We've all had the stomach feeling that you probably got right now. We've all probably had it, and it is a learning experience. It is, and that's why, you know, the things that I gave you are like, oh, it's not telling me exactly what to do. It is. It's telling you what to react to according to your MACD, right? So you just want to react, and you got to take it on the chin, and then go back to your good habits. Take it on the chin, go back to your good habits. That's it. And is it completely over for you yet? No, this hasn't even curled over yet. But if it does, you're going to want to manage that risk, right? So that's what this is telling you. That's what the MACD tells you to do. That's how we do things. That's what we talk about in the course. It's only $100, guys. For the next 5 days, $100 for the course is down in the description. But this has not curled over yet. So there are some things that can still happen. Now, this is starting to add up to, hey, it's trying to keep this right here, the 200 on the 30-minute. Okay, if it keeps that, it just curls right back up. Awesome. So maybe you even dig into a 15-minute and you say, hey, what if this curls up? That can give me some confidence, right? Look for something that can give you some confidence. If the 15-minute curls up, you got a chance to go positive trend here. You got a chance to go positive trend. But right now, it's really curling down, so I have to pay attention to a 30-minute and say, hey, if that 30-minute momentum picks up to the downside, that's not going to be a good thing in negative territory. God, I'm hiccuping like crazy. Big move. Big move, that's like all I say here. 2 hour, there's your contrarian bullish signal. Just you see the V-shaped ones are harder to see, but actually you got something right here. What is right here is what I wonder. So that's a solid move. What is this date? 17th. Nothing really, actually. Just a wick down. Yeah, nothing really. Nothing really to say, like, as far as it goes. The main thing to say here is it's a swing trade. That's the main thing to say, and that's why I'm thinking about putting swing trading out there, give you guys another little bit of trading strategy, because swing trading is very, very simple. Boom, right there was your dynamite. Right here was your dynamite, and then you go up, go sideways, go up again. This right here was a 2 hour swing trade. This would be like a ballsy, get in early type of guy who's at least paying attention to a signal. And then this bar right here would be little bit ballsy kind of guy. And then it was this bar right here. Actually, it was probably like this bar right here that said, hey, I'm going positive. That's where like the most safe person would get in. Me personally, I like to do this and then manage the trade. I like to do it early and then I manage the trade very closely, but give me the ticker you're looking at, Mark. Yeah, that's fine, Sloth. I'm glad you're going through it multiple times. It shows some dedication there, and you're going to run into things that you've never experienced before, and it looks like you're running into one of those things. Don't let it beat you up too much, right? Don't let it beat you up too much. Take it on the chin. Learn from it. You're still learning. You just said it yourself, still learning, and therefore you're going to have things that I've ran into that you haven't. Now you're running into one of those things. You're running into a Zillow moment or something like that. You're running into a bad trade moment. And then you have to know, look back on it and say, why was this a bad trade and this and that, right? Because right now the 2 hour is not curled up. It told you, hey, no potential upside right here. And then on the 30-minute, when did that thing curl up? Well, it just curled up right over here. So this said maybe, but it's starting to dip down. If that crosses over, not a good look, right? But when did the 30-minute tell you to get out of the position? Well, right here. The 30-minute MACD said 935.80 was pretty much the last level where you could see upside. And boom, look at that. We've headed down ever since. We never crossed back up until we're negative. And that's key to understand. We're negative, which means likely we will see some kind of stronger base form before that goes up. But me personally, since I take out month-out options or sometimes 2 month-out options, what I'd be doing is maybe I could even scale or something if I see this signal to make my price better. That way, if it does see a move up, I can make a little bit or break even. That's what I like to do. If I'm in a worrisome trade and it gives me another setup, I'm like, okay, cool. But would I have taken this trade to start with? No, I just wouldn't have. I would have waited for the swing trade. You gotta at least get the swing trade signal. Meta hit its weekly move. Seriously? Did it really? Yeah, Meta hitting that weekly expected move. Right now, it's right on it. This is kind of where it's like, hey, do we see some crazy thing to the upside, or is this going to hold at some point of divergence? That would be a massive divergence. 30 minutes. See, like here is where you'd really say, I think we said this in the video, like this area here, 30-minute pullback, and then you see that go into next week, right? We pull back for a couple of days, and then we curl up next week. That would be a solid signal because your MACD would get close to the center line. Boom, curl back up. Quick little trade to have there maybe. But as of right now, you'd say, well, if that is going to happen, we don't want the 2 hour to cross down. You just do not want the 2 hour to cross down because that's confirming momentum down on a 2 hour compared to a 30-minute. Well, if you just do some simple math, in a 30-minute, how much strength does a 2 hour have compared to a 30-minute? Well, how many 30 minutes are in a 2 hour? 4 of them. So a 2 hour momentum has 4 times the strength of a 30-minute chart. XAU USD. Are you doing it on the, let's see this one, 4X? I'm sure you're looking at 4X maybe. I mean, that's not a pretty look for gold. So curling down negative territory, you haven't lost the lows here. You haven't closed below this level of about 228479. So if you just take the closing low here of this bar, let's see, 228521. You can probably make yourself a little line in the sand here and just say, hey, this is an area where if we break below, that's not a good thing, right? Not a good thing. We could head down to this level right here of about, 2150, and then maybe we see a bounce from there. So if you start to break this, you'd maybe rotate down, rotate back up, and then you'd see from here if you're able to build back, take back that level. But right now, I think this is the main level to pay attention to. No real trade setup here, by the way. No real good trade setup, but this is negative in negative territory. That's a bad sign. So you want to start to see reversal signals in some way. So if the 4 hour is able to curl back up, that'd be good, but you're below the 200, which means swing trading is going to be a little difficult there for the upside. So we're not necessarily seeing good structure all across this right now. It does not look like any basing out structure at this point. So kind of the worrisome thing would be like, oh, we just scoop down to this level, get a small bounce, and then we just keep going, because this is just pointing negative. Now you're getting oversold as you approach a key level. That's something to pay attention to. There could be a bounce here. There could be a recovery here. So you want to see if that 4 hour, I think, is able to curl up. Maybe even looking at a 2 hour, you at least need this guy to curl up, and that's pretty dang oversold right now. So if you can see that, test that level, maybe curl back up, hey, some positive move could come. But have we seen, yeah, we've seen some pretty good positive moves. We've seen some pretty good positive moves here from this level. You've seen some pretty good bounces. I really like this one, by the way. I'm gonna do a 4 hour. I really like this setup right here. I really like this one. So actually, I bet it looks better on a 2 hour now that I'm looking deeper at it. Right here, this is great. So if I was taking like month, 2 month out positions for this or something, hey, I see the base. All right, cool. I'm patient. I see it curl back down. Okay, awesome. This right here is a trigger. It says, hey, I have potential to reverse the trend around, but I'm still far away from the center line, so I could just be a bounce. Guess what? It was just a bounce. And then it curls up. So this would be like scale in, drops again, scale in, right? If you weren't faked out by anything here, this would have been a great trade setup for you for the scale in. You dip down, and then you cross up one more time, boom, big move. You dip down, you cross up one more time, boom, big move. You dip down, you cross up one more time, big move. This is a great little setup here. And if you just paid attention to a 4 hour, what do you notice right here? Hey, some divergence. And if you're confident in it, you see the rejection, it never crossed back over. Boom, there you go. So crosses up right here, and then it curls back down. Awesome. Never curls actually back down on the MACD to show that negative, that downside. So it curls back up again. So technically, even from your buy point after that divergence, very good look. Very good look. Even if you bought there, hey, 5.42%, that's pretty nice. But I really like the 2 hour, these swings we were kind of doing with this overall move. So what I'm saying all that now is just because you do not have any kind of structure like that right now. You have nothing like that right now. And I want you to be, I wanted to be clear about that. There's no structure like that over here. Over here was completely different. It was completely different. That's more the setup that I like to see. This is more, hey, I might need to do some work, right? I might do this, I might bounce up, I might come back down, and then I might come back up, and then I might see this. So there's a lot of maybes when you see structure like this. This takes out a little bit of the maybes. I actually don't know what's happening with gold. Gold looked like a pretty good setup there, but it's weird because it's like gold going down, the yields go up. I think this will have an interesting reaction tomorrow to the right GDP's tomorrow, right? Yeah. So I think GDP will be interesting with gold because we'll get to see like inflation versus non-inflation, growth versus non-growth. Oh, AMD. Yeah, we haven't looked at AMD too much. Let's go look at that real quick. AMD right now, the 2 hour is saying downside. Just so we're clear, the 2 hour is negative in negative territory. That is saying downside. It is saying 2 hour downside. That's very important to understand here. What would cause more upside? Well, the 30-minute crossing up, and it crossed up. It just crossed right back down. Okay, so you have both the 30-minute and the 2 hour saying most likely downside is the option right now. Now that can change very quickly on a 30-minute, and that can change pretty quickly on a 2 hour. If the 2 hour starts to curl back up, you're probably gonna break through this trend, right? And then where would you react to? Well, we're probably reacting to the top side here, somewhere around 170, okay? So, I mean, first of all, you got to look at your weekly expected moves for this stuff too, by the way. You always got to look at a weekly expected move. And guess what? I just said 170. Okay, I just looked at where the weekly expected move is. I'm going to tell you right now, it is pretty much right where I thought we needed to form some resistance. Okay, it's somewhere in this area right here. If you want those, you have to go on the Patreon down, link in the description to get these. But if that 2 hour rotates back up, okay, we can see a positive move. All right, so the downside move is a little bit lower, right? So the downside move down a little bit towards the edge of this zone. So if we head down, you know that that's probably the target. And then if we head up, you know that this is probably the target. That's kind of how it helps you out. But you need to probably see something clear, like an hourly turn up, right? Hourly, sometimes it is more clear. I like my 30-minute charts, I really do, but this one doesn't look very clear, does it? So maybe I need to go to an hourly, wait for that momentum to shift back up on an hourly scale. 2 hour, you're still above the moving averages here as well. You're starting to lose it right now, so pay attention because this is saying downside. We could head down to like 152 and then see what happens from there. Maybe we make a stronger base. Kind of like what I'm saying with Nvidia. It needs maybe a stronger base on a 30-minute chart. You notice that 2 hour did not cross up, so I think Nvidia, if it made a stronger base down here, that would be a good sign. GME and AMC both rolling over negative, rolling over. They're trying to roll over right now, so we'll see what happens. It's still positive as of this moment. This one here, not positive. SMCI still hasn't done that rollover. Microsoft seeing another upward move there. And this one did not look very pretty, right? Man, this one didn't look pretty, but it goes higher. They take the money out of Nvidia, put it into Microsoft. We have a 0.7. Everyone's buying calls. Everyone's buying calls. Oh, God. Everyone's buying calls. Dollar still remaining high. SPY. I really think Nvidia is the one to watch here. See if this 30-minute can roll over. Yeah, that's not a good sign. You might need to make the stronger base. Stronger base or a higher low would make sense here. If we just see it ripped away, then you just want to zoom out and be like, okay, daily scale. What do we notice? Well, we went up, we tested this level. Okay, now we're breaking down. So we tested this level, we got that little bounce. Now the 30-minute, maybe we break back down, and then we'll see what happens by end of day. This is the first zone to pay attention to. The next zone would be right in this area, that 95.63 being the start of that. But notice the 2 hour is starting to reject here. See how that's not confirming up? That's why I like to wait for my confirmations, because this 30-minute rolls down, it's not good news for Nvidia. I look over at GME on a 2 hour, it's just not moving. Is my computer broken? Like, it is just not moving. Look at that. It's just not moving. What the fuck? AMC? Bro, what? You look at any stock, look at Meta. Watch. Is that not moving? There it goes, it finally moved. There you go. 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 You're seeing movement. Let's see if these moved. Nope. Nope. They're just not moving. They're not moving in like a 1 millimeter. Gross, making my skin crawl. Yeah, and sometimes, like, you know, honestly, here's the thing. I'll look at stocks in the morning and I'll just be like, man, nothing's setting up. Am I gonna sit here for 7 hours and wait? No, I'm probably gonna go hang out, do something else for 2 hours. I think like randomly last week on one of the boring days, I got off at like 11 and I was like, man, this shit's boring. So I just like went to the pool. That's pretty funny though. Nvidia not crossing over yet. Tesla's still just hitting that weekly expected move over and over. Did we close above it? No. No, it hasn't closed above it yet. See what's going on Twitter. Oh, dang it. I meant to go say hi to baby girl. She was fast asleep this morning, but I wanted to say hi to her. I think she's going down for her next nap. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. All right. Maybe she made, guess what she made, guys. Oh my god, wait, hold on. GME moved. It moved 4 cents. AMC moved. Wait, did it? I think it moved 1 cent. Holy shit, that stuff's wild. Let's go look at the SPY for a sec. Not able to curl down. That's a rejection as of right now. So now we want to pay attention to this 2 hour, see if that curls up. Actually, maybe even a 1 hour looks okay. Yeah, see, now it's wonky. So 2 hour confirmation would be good. Maybe at least some kind of swing trade confirmation. So in 30 minutes, if you start to close above these highs, like right here, that would be a confirmation. The only problem with this is our daily expected move is 547.63. It's right above you. So you got to be a little cautious with it. So I'm guessing with that, let's see what Nvidia is able to do here. If it's able to cross up, we still have about 32 minutes left in this bar. So it's kind of like in the next hour, Nvidia needs to say, am I rejecting, or am I going to go make a stronger base, or am I just going to crash down because this is negative territory? So it's pretty much like, is it going to go up, reject, or is it going to cross down and show some downside? That's what I think is overall being said here. She's making Japanese sandwiches again. Love them, love them. So I might go up and just eat with her for like 3 minutes, just to chill, say hi to my girls for a sec, because everyone was super sleepy today. Everyone was asleep when I woke up. Snow. Ooh, Snow, solid 30-minute divergence confirmed on this bar right here. Solid 30-minute divergence. Now you want to see, hey, that's a good sign. That's a great sign. What happens down here? Ooh, we have 2 hour divergence as well at the same time. So what does this tell me? This tells me Snow could actually catch a bid here. Pretty good one. I know it looks very beat up, but that is what it's telling me. Now this has headed down for some time. You see the tapering coming in. So we could see some kind of reaction here from Snow. Now this is very negative, so you have to manage the trade very closely, but on the daily scale, what do we see down here? Well, we actually see some divergence in the shorter term, so I think we actually could maybe just get a reaction at least up to like 132, something like that, up towards this 20, and then we'll see what happens from there. If we're able to take that back, you might get a big reaction, we'll see, because we did break through this little area right here. So this area right here, this would be the first point where I'd pay attention. It's probably better as a little box, right? It's probably better as a little box. Let's draw a little box here. So what I'd say is, where's this gap right here? Right there. That I think is as bullish as it can get with this bounce for now. And then you want to see if that kind of like rotates up, right? Rotates up. You see that maybe curl down for a second, then rotates back up again. I think that would be a good look. But 2-hour divergences here. Looks like a good move could come. You got daily divergence as well on the MACD. Not necessarily on the RSI, very good at the same time, right? You see how it's a little lower here, but you do have it in the near price action. Yeah, it's attempting to rally. So Nvidia is really trying to rally, but I'm telling you, I don't think that base is strong enough. So if you the problem with this is if you just go off of this base, the probabilities if you end up doing this of this being a lower high is very, very high. If you just go from that base, it's very, very high because you only have a weekly range up in this area, and you would have more time in the rest of the week if you just ripped up to here to actually head down by Friday. So what you'd actually want to see from Nvidia, if you want it to be bullish going into next week, is you actually want this to drop off, create a stronger base. That way it eats up some of this week's time, and then you see that start to react up. And you notice as I go up into this area with the mouse, where are we right here? We're Friday. Are we outside of that weekly expected move? No, we're not. So that's overall what I would like to see from Nvidia. And we're starting to get that curl down. Let's go look at SMCI. It kind of reacts the same. So see, this is starting to curl down as well. So this would tell me, hey, maybe risk manage soon, right? This is why I wait for stronger bases, because these bounces, if you don't have a strong base, it's just a lot of the time the bounce is weak. Okay, and then let's go back to Nvidia for a second. So if that starts to cross over, that's the most likely scenario, I think, is we create a stronger base. Now that could be a higher low. It could, but I think it needs to eat up some time, right? I think there's way too many calls coming into the market, 0.7. So what would the market maker want to do? Well, they'd want to rip Nvidia down. Yeah, and that's the thing. So you would think that, right? You would think that, but you don't know that, right? Unless you know something, which would probably be insider trading at that point, unless you know something that could really change, right? But I think does not mean anything to me. I think that if this would cross over, then that would mean downside. I know that if this crosses over, it is going negative. I know that if it crosses over and goes negative, then the downside is the most probable move. But I also know, and if I think this is going to go higher, I also know that if it would curl back up at any time, that would be the positive move, the overall real positive move, because you're starting off with a cross right by that center line. That's much better. So I just want to get into a flow of like, everyone thought AMC and GME were going to pop last Friday, but they didn't know, right? No one knew, and then they found out, right? So what I want to pay attention to is the signals, and right now, curling down, that would be bad. Has it curled down? No, it hasn't. It hasn't. All right, guys, I'm going to go eat breakfast real quick. With wifey. I'm just going to leave you guys on NVIDIA for a moment, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes, all right? Click around, like the video on your way out if you're going to go just watch someone else for a second, but just like 3 minutes, I'm going to eat real quick, and I'll be right back. We're back. What happened? I ate breakfast. Don't worry. I had a Japanese sandwich. I know you guys were wondering. Japanese sandwich and Abuela was here, so we had to talk to Abuela for a second. Ooh, dollar going higher again. Okay, so what happened while I was gone? Anything crazy? Anything crazy happening? Apple? Solid. Nvidia? Not so solid. Yeah, I could from this zone, right? Sometimes we like to test in the zone that we break out of. We'll see. That 30 minutes still hasn't crossed. AMD still pointing down. Meta, what did you do at that weekly expected move? Saw some resistance. What's Tesla doing? Tesla's still remaining right above the, well, actually right at that weekly expected move as of right now. Very interesting from Tesla there. Google turning down. Netflix turning back up. Look at that guy. And SMCI, there's your confirmation, more downside. So you want to see if there's any kind of bounce back up from this area. Now you need to make that divergence at this point, but that's not a good sign from SMCI. No reason for upside is what that's saying. The SPY trying to point down. Still a lot of calls in the market as of right now, so we'll pay attention to it. They bounced it right back up. I didn't really dump. I'd still like a stronger base from the Qs, so I would like a lot of these tech things to start to roll over a little bit more, just to get them down, get a strong base, then go up. If we just start going up, I'm not going to be very confident in that bounce. Apple, it's at the weekly expected move already. This is why I didn't have faith in this bounce, really. It's just like, so the thing that could happen from here is if this 2 hour is going to cross up, we might see something crazy from Apple. We might see something crazy from Apple because you're already at that weekly expected move right here. So there's just not a lot higher the market expects. So not the best look for Apple, I would say. This guy here, Palantir, we were looking for that 30 minutes to cross down. It just won't yet. We shall see. Maybe something like that plays out. What did these guys do? Oh, they curled down. Did they cross over yet? Not yet. Not yet. Still positive for GME. Interesting. Gold starting to see some bouncing back. Tesla, I really want to keep my eye on Tesla. A lot of calls. 0.718. Check silver. Yeah, let's check silver actually. How did silver react since gold saw that drop off? I mean, no real divergence, but there you go. There's your 2 hour divergence across the way. I know that these led to this bounce, but around that same area, you can still see that sturdy bounce. Let's see if this crosses up just because it's closer to positive territory. So now this would happen in positive territory, which just means it might be a little bit stronger. Did you guys like how I sneezed, but I like went full on into talking right after, like I didn't even sneeze? Pretty impressive, I know. No, I'm just kidding. Inverse head and shoulders on the daily, I mentioned, playing out for, shoot, I don't know which one you were talking about. TLT dump before Friday's data. Yeah, we're seeing those yields go up. Little dump here on this guy here. So looked like it wanted to go. It really did, but it never confirmed it on the 2 hour. So that's when you know, hey, yeah, more downside. The Dow has been dropping down for a little bit here. In a pullback. It just says pullback as of right now. Same with the SPY. SPY just says pullback. Look at the Qs. Same with the Qs. Qs just say pullback. Oh, Tesla. Inverse head and shoulders. Oh, on the daily scale you said, right? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Left head. This is the right shoulder. It's just a violation. And I think, yeah, I think you mentioned this like a week ago or something. You were looking for this setup. And I overall was just like, yeah, I'm going to pay attention to my wrist during it because, you know, Head and Shoulders like to fail a lot of the time. But this is great. It's great price action. It's good to pay attention to. Looks great. I'm just saying it's getting a little too excited for this week. Now, it can keep getting excited. You have daily momentum behind you. It's great. You have daily momentum behind you. Okay, that just tells me if I keep closing above this level, well, we're going to see something crazy. Maybe we even head up to here, right? That'd be something crazy. But as of right now, I'd have to go look at my 2 hour and just be like, uh-oh, there's some kind of divergences forming here at the top towards the weekly expected move. It's not to say that that's not going to play out eventually. It's just like this week, it would make more sense to pull back down and then next week see that curl up at the end of the week maybe, and then see that curl up and then you have a expected move up to this area. Pretty much I'm just saying the options market is not expecting Tesla to get up to this level. So if it, or get past this level, so if it did, it can see something crazy, but the percentages are 68% chance down from this area. Just taking it into consideration. But it is playing out. I mean, that's facts. It's looking decent. It just looks a little bit wonky to me, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it looks like to me. It looks like it's curling up, positive territory. Solid. Scott, hey, Zap. Wait, is Zap like a stock? Zappos? Zap. Electric Vehicles Group? Ooh. Divergence on the 2 hour, curling down. Ooh, this is where I would need to know a lot about this company because my God, that is not a good look. Yeah, that's not something that I would say is like good. I mean, now the thing is, you do have daily going positive here. That's a good sign. If you look at the 2 hour, you're still in positive territory. This is overall just saying pullback right now, right? So you're still in pullback territory. If that crosses up, hey, awesome. Maybe another big move in there for you. The 30-minute, though, you're pretty negative. And you did just get some kind of rejection, right? It wanted to turn down. It kind of rejected that for a moment. Just pay attention. If that does curl down, you're going negative still. But if that 2 hour can curl up, that might be positivity there for Zapapa. Come on, VIX, launch. Well, the VIX, we might need to go make a 30-minute divergence first. That would be a good signal for the volatility. And then what we'd want to see is something on the SPY at the same time, right? We'd want to see something on the SPY at the same time. Yeah, Apple's gonna struggle here. It's like Apple and Tesla might be a little bit, see some weakness soon. Tesla's looking still strong though. Like, look at that. Maybe it does see something crazy outside of the weekly expected move. Not necessarily seeing like reversal, but it is very overbought on the 30-minute. Is it overbought on a 2 hour? Yes, it is. So it's overbought on a 2 hour as well. I'm just saying I would like to see a little sturdy pullback, kind of remain higher, just see that pullback, and then see that breakout going next week. I think that would be very, very good. Cosmic has the message. What's the message? Mohit message, experiencing an issue that delayed equities, options, and crypto order status updates. We're working to resolve it. Damn, that's too bad. SQQ, TQQ, both in the red. Yeah, that shit's... Yeah. Just regular market behavior right there. Hey, the stock market's up, so everything else is down. Trade if you want. Like, it's just too difficult. US Tech 100 Index needs to dive 800 points. So for this here, you're looking for that 2 hour to cross over. And you would see a dive of maybe 400 points. Good reaction up. Actually, going into the liquidity zone, this is kind of good. So right here, you could also say, hey, if this wanted to do this, pull back, go back up, that'd be awesome. So 2 hour curls over, bad news. Just a little bit tighter look here would be your 30-minute on the Qs, seeing if that's actually able to cross down. Not crossing down yet, so 2 hour, If this thing curls up, what if we just see a big move from all the tech stocks? That would be crazy, because Apple and Tesla both hitting their upside ranges. Nvidia looks like it wants to maybe keep curling up. That'd be interesting. AMD puts. Yeah, so AMD, the direction is down for now. You just want to be aware if that starts to change, right? If this 30 minutes starts to curl up, go positive, that's when it starts to change, right? If this would curl up for a moment, it'd say, hey, no reason for downside. It is a 30-minute chart, so I get it. But if an hourly turns up, you'd say, hey, no reason for up, or no reason for downside anymore. The hourly just turned up. Then if it turns back down, maybe it goes back into it, but let's see. Apple and Tesla both seeing very strong moves while Nvidia drops. So now are we going to see that change and Apple and Tesla start to drop while Nvidia pops? Doesn't seem like the most crazy thing in the world, does it? All right, so the next 30-minute bar is going to be very important. Yo, I gotta give my pit bull a bath today. That dude's stanky. That dude's stanky as hell. Okay, and then you really want to see if GME starts to roll over on the 30-minute. Yo, is this thing just frozen at all times? I swear, whenever I click on it, nothing is ever moving. Like, that's so freaking fishy. Is there just no volume going into this thing? $149,000 and it's not even moving. $269,000 and that's all you get? Oh, well, I guess it's a 1% drop. My gosh. That's just like watching paint dry. It's just frozen. You guys ever seen that movie, Frozen? Shaking the tree? Possibly. Possibly. We did see a lot of puts come out of GME yesterday. We'll see if those were reapplied today. Like, I doubt that they've been doing some crazy stuff. I think their liquidity is starting to dry up a little bit. But you never know. They could just get a loan from a buddy. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so we're starting to bounce back up now. Interesting. Daily scale, you start to close above these bad boys. Oh my goodness, that's going to look pretty. But remember, this 2 hour is still very negative for GME. What else you guys want to look at? Nope, Disney is dead to me. True. There's a call flow in silver. Yeah, so for silver here, you see the 2 hour of divergence across the way. Now it is across the way, so you have to take that into consideration. Maybe even looking at like a daily scale, seeing if this can turn back up. You notice we don't cross ever. But I would say that maybe even the hourly looks pretty good for some kind of turn up, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. But overall, the 2 hour curling up is the most important thing. You might even see 4 hour divergence. You see the 4 hour divergence now? So you could see a good move. You just want to wait for some confirmations, but silver being very interesting here. And gold behaving weird as well. Did my voice just crack? Did I just go into puberty right now? For the shorter time frames, I don't think we're seeing much. We're just seeing the first curl up. So that could mean there's more work to be done, right? But you really want to pay attention to that 4 hour curling up in case this is just a V shape. But if we're going to see some kind of push and see that drop again for a little 30-minute divergence, that would be nice. I'd say that would be nice. But from this area, you might just use this whole thing as your base now and just see that thing launch. We'll see. Got to be patient with this one. Wait for that 2 hour to curl up for some confirmation. Nvidia now down 2.09%. The next 30 minutes is going to be important, so we're going to keep a close eye on Nvidia for the next 30 minutes. Did FFIE do it? Dang it, man, my fun play. Oh, FDFA. My fun play was last week. Darn. Solid move, but just know if the 30-minute crosses over, that means it's close to the center line. So just be careful if that 30 minutes starts to cross. Amazon, what did you end up doing? Starting to wick out still. Do I have the right range for Amazon? I feel like Amazon's range is too big. Yeah, maybe it's not. No, we're towards it, 194-ish. Nvidia goes, if it crosses, could go down to like 118. Where is 118? Like right in here. That'd be great if we cross down to that. That would look so good. That'd be such a good play to take, man. Like, that would look like great structure. And then if it could confirm, your boy might even get into it. I don't even know. Dude, that stuff is just paint drying. All right, Nvidia, this is your important bar. This is kind of like if you see weakness in this bar, you can cross over. Look how close that is. So interesting. Wait, she just bought all those? Wait. Kathy Wiz just bought TSMC? Isn't this like... No, let's just look at TSM. I mean... Oh, I don't think I'm looking at the right thing here. I don't know what the fuck she bought, but... Yeah, I'm trying to look at... Amazon is just a silly play for her as a owner of a fund type thing to like... To go long here... To go long here is a little backwards, in my opinion. She's planning on holding this for 12 months, and that's probably not going to work out for her. Now, Palantir, a little different story, right? Palantir, a little different story. But even Palantir, on the daily scale, you got to say, like, this looks great. Maybe creating some kind of cup and handle, kind of violated by this move here, though. But kind of getting that handle feel. If it starts to curl over, that would mean pulling back. She might be buying when a pullback happens. But you'd say 2 hour, if that could rotate back up, then it'd be up for a little bit. But is she planning on holding it for like a year? I don't know her plan there. Nvidia just keeps going down. The rejection on the 2 hour is there. We just got to see if this 30-minute can roll over. Yeah, if Palantir curls up on a 2 hour, that's pretty much a swing trade. They're speaking Spanish upstairs. 30-minute about to cross down on the dollar. Yeah, that's a 30-minute. Like, yeah, that can signify some kind of pullback, but I really like to look at bigger time frames for the dollar. You can see that's dramatic selling. Have we really seen dramatic selling? Well, we have the SPY and the Q is slightly down. We have Apple up, Tesla up, Amazon up, AMD down, Nvidia down, Meta up, Microsoft up, Google pretty much even, Netflix up. So, like, I don't think we've necessarily seen the downside. Now, that could just be this going to cash from Nvidia. Nvidia is a huge stock at this point. So a little move like that could probably cause something like that. And then also TLT today. So TLT could be causing this as well. The big move in the dollar. It seems like it. They're down to $60 or something right now. So weren't they out like 6 grand or some shit? Or 3 grand? I don't know what they were at. Something crazy. Yeah, the other reason the crossing down of the dollar would be interesting is like there's a ton of calls in the market right now. That'd be very interesting. What's going on the Twitter sphere? Oh wait, did you say Bitcoin check? Bitcoin's giving it all back right now? Oh god. Not quite. I think the 2 hour you need that divergence. That's what I'm saying. I think 2 hour you at least need some kind of base for, especially for crypto. You really want to see those bases for crypto. Interesting. Still, Nvidia very important, this 30-minute bar right now. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna see if anything's happening. Amazon is trending. Tesla is trending. I love people that like hate on technical analysis, but then when technical analysis looks good for what they're saying, they mention technical analysis. Amazon. Okay, what else we got? Tesla. Potential robo-taxi launch happening in 2025. They're back for Tesla. Interesting. Yeah. At least, yeah, at least like yesterday, I was so bored, guys. Like, I know that the big drop happened for Nvidia and stuff, but I was just like, oh my God, it started to build back up. It's just like, oh my God, so slow. AMC and GME just like moving in tandem again, like just slowly down. Right away in the morning, it tries to go up and then it just slams down. It's like, oh my God. And then you're looking at Apple, you're like, sure, I guess this could cross up. It's going sideways. I was just like, God, this is so boring. So I went shopping. Yields do look a little bad. Grab snow calls. That's a pretty quick turnaround. Yeah. It's proving though. So, like, what you need to do, since you did that, you have to create a range, right? So, I would say if you create that range, we teach you how to do it in the course, $100 for the next 5 days. But if you can create that range, at least for snow, then you know next week how high up it's supposed to go. So, if snow like ended here on Friday, you would just say, okay, snow can go up to here or could go down to here. So then you could say, oh, if we get that reaction up, boom, this is as high up as it is expected to go, up towards that price point of 137 maybe, right? This is all just hypothetical, but that's what you would do because you have a pretty short-term call contract there. Yeah, Matthew, it does make it fly by a little bit better than you sitting there staring at a bar just for like for like 3 hours or so. AM Dizzle, Nvidia. Okay, we're starting to bounce back. So we're not confirming that on the 30-minute. So this bar is very important because you could get a rejection bar right now. And then the next bar is going to be important too. You kind of have to see positivity if you reject right here. Why is this stuff bouncing? Why am I going green over here? Tesla's still going. Apple crossing up. Okay, so Apple is crossing up as of right now at the weekly expected move. Okay, so this 2-hour bar is going to be very important. I'd really pay attention to this, because if this is happening and this is crossing up on a 2-hour outside of the weekly expected move, you can see something crazy happen. You really can see something crazy happen, because this is a lot of momentum coming behind it as it's something unexpected. So boom, you can see a big move. So you really want to pay attention if this is able to confirm and isn't like given up right away. So a 30 minutes still very important for Apple for some kind of pullback, right? We'll see. But in this area, as you're curling up that 2-hour, you really got to start to pay close attention to Apple if you're looking into it at all. Tesla, I think this was just still the 2-hour going up higher, getting rid of the divergences too. So good move from Tesla. Nvidia trying to reject, but not fully rejecting it just yet. What's volatility look like? Oh, here we go. That makes sense. Make a little 30-minute divergence would be nice. Dollar still holding higher. SPY, you gonna reject here too? Give me a higher low. We shall see, we shall see. That bar for Apple really messed with these weekly expected moves, by the way. This bar, where is it? Friday? Is this one. This bar really messed with the weekly expected moves. That's probably why we're hitting it right now. One thing to mention too is we're still outside of the monthly expected move. We keep going outside of these monthly expected moves, which you just don't see a lot. You just do not see multiple months in a row ending outside of monthly expected moves. That just doesn't happen often. So you're trading in one of the craziest times in history right before your eyes, honestly. Oh, Ari's awake finally. All right, GameStop has a digital store now. Interesting. They updated their digital store. Sick. Sorry, I'm just trying to read some stuff real quick. No. Okay. JPY Doom Loop. God damn. USD JPY looks like trash. All right, what are you guys up to? Neo rocketing? Is it? Whoa! Nice. There's your subtle little 2-hour divergence right down here. Another point right here, 30-minute. You probably have triple. 1, 2, 3. There's your triple. Boom. Triggered right here. Upside, upside, upside. Looks good. So now with that 2-hour, you gotta see is the daily rotating up. Ooh, that daily can rotate up now. Yeah, it's a tough time. It's a tough time, Gordon. You're taking some QQQ calls? Hey, I hear you. I hear you. As long as that 2 hour is curling up, it can look better. But this would be like a swing trader would say, hey, yeah, right here, maybe even they'd be in. Right here, they're probably definitely in, and now they're just waiting on a 2-hour chart, that is. So the 30-minute, if that rolls over, though, you know that's like, hey, the 2-hour can't cross up if this rolls over. So, and I think the only reason it would roll over is if Nvidia goes down. So I think Nvidia is good to watch. AMC bouncing. I don't think that's. We'll see, but 30-minute didn't cross back over. That's a big deal. SMCI did, so there you go. There's your point maybe of divergence to pay attention to. See if that's able to curl back up and go positive. That'd be a good sign. AMC starting to bounce, starting to, at least the price is moving, right? And then I click over to GME. I'm like, at least the price is moving, and then it just doesn't move at all. Like, what's the volume in this bar for it to be so bad? 36K. 281K in this bar. 143 in that one. Okay, the buying bars are much crazier. Almost 1 million in this one. 550K in this one, and then the little selling ones come in. We'll see. As long as those 30 minutes don't cross over, we're looking pretty safe. It could. I think volatility does have the opportunity to still cross down, right? Still has the opportunity to cross down, create a divergence. That's more when I pay attention to volatility, but I want to see that signal on the SPY at the same time. So the fact that the 30 minutes crossing down and the SPY is starting to see some price action up where the 2-hour could curl up, hey, that'd be pretty good, right? So for now, QQQ, hey, 2-hour curls up, we could see a positive move. And we have moves that can take us outside of these expected moves right now, and that would be Apple and Tesla. Tesla can take us outside of it. Apple can start to take us outside of it with that crossing up. So there is a possibility for a move to the upside. I just think that would be interesting with a put-call ratio of 0.71. This is Trading View. If you're wondering what this is, it's Trading View. Use Trading View. I actually downgraded to the very basic package because I don't even need to pay for 7 or 8 indicators anymore. I'm like, I'm good. So for like 15 bucks a month, that's all I pay to trade. But you can get the free version. It's just me. I hate the ads. I hate the fact that it asks me every 15 minutes if I want to upgrade. I hate it so much. So that's the main reason I pay for the platform. I don't know if I've used, I just think like, I think I've used Webull, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it personally. So right now I'm using Thinkorswim. I pushed some stuff over to Thinkorswim to try it out for a little bit here. So I've been using that for a little over a week or two. What happened to Nvidia? What the f? Well, it's starting to see if it's going to curl down on the 30-minute or curl up on the 2-hour. That's kind of what you're getting at here. So it's kind of like we said, this 30-minute bar, probably decision time, whether you're going to reject or cross. You probably got a few little 30-minute bars here before you figure it out. And the bad part is 11 is like as far as I can go today for the stream, which sucks, but... starting to bounce up. Interesting. Yeah, shareholder meeting coming out. You just don't know. You just don't really know until that moment actually happens. So, but for myself right now, usually this is the time where I do have to hop off. I have other stuff I have to work on, but I just want to say we can look through a couple of these right now, right? The SPY starting to tick back up, not confirming more downside. The Qs starting to tick up, not confirming more downside, and that's probably because Nvidia is not ticking down to confirm more downside. So we'll see if this is able to cross. That means negativity. 2 hour crosses up, positivity. That goes for the spine cues as well. Apple. The reason that I'm like, we could see something crazy is just because you have Apple and Tesla both making moves outside of weekly expected moves, and they're getting their first curl up. Well, at least Apple is getting its first curl up. So Apple really could see something crazy here. And I know that's kind of crazy to say, but it can from this area. So we'll pay attention to that. Tesla already seeing something crazy going well outside of that weekly expected move. So we need to wait and see some resistance up in these areas. That's what the trading strategy around the weekly ranges is. You got to see weakness up in those areas. If you don't see weakness, you can just blow right past it. So Amazon as well going higher. This can go even higher, guys. Like can go to like 194. So the main thing to pay attention to is Nvidia. Does it cross up on the 2 hour or does it cross down on a 30-minute? I think that's very telling. AMD, what could happen from here? Well, it's saying downside right now on the 30-minute. It's saying downside right now on the 2 hour. But if either one of those start to curl back up, especially a 2 hour because the momentum's better there, we can start to break this trend, maybe head to an upward expected move. Meta, this one running into its expected move. We want to see on the 30-minute, does it base out, give us some kind of thing like this and go higher? Or is it just going to roll over on a 2 hour right now? Test the low, go make a new one. We'll have to find out with that one going forward. AMC and GME, they're still not crossed up for AMC on the 2 hour. Not crossed up for AMC on the 2 hour, okay? So that's important. This one hasn't even crossed up. So that says no bullishness right now, really. It's saying no bullishness for AMC just yet. Now, this was the start of something, right? This is the start of something, but it's actively fought against throughout the day. So if you want to see something crazy, you got to get this 2 hour to go positive, and you got to get above 536. GME, little different story, did cross up and is remaining crossed up as of now. So this could just leak up and go positive and then cross through that 2779, and we might see something crazy. So what do we need to pay attention to? Well, if that's not going to happen, how would I know that that is not going to happen right now? Well, the 30-minute's going to cross down. If this 30-minute crosses down, then I know that 2 hours is not going to go up right now. So I have to see if the 30-minute crosses down and then by the end of the day maybe ticks back up and curls back up. Hey, that might be the actual moment, and maybe tomorrow morning we end up with some kind of move higher. We'll pay attention. Right now, this is just like watching paint dry. It's moving so, like, I know these are 1% and 2% moves, but like it's just so slow. Every time I look at it, it's frozen. Like look, 24.32. It just sits there and then it moves 1 cent and then it sits there. So it's gonna sit here for a long time, and it's just I'd rather go get some chores done pretty much right now. I gotta wash Bruce, and then I gotta work on some other stuff. So I really do appreciate you guys being here. Something with volatility to pay attention to is a 30-minute divergence. If that sets up by the end of the day, we could see some kind of rug pull. So pay attention, because Nvidia, and this is something I want to be clear about, Nvidia is not towards its weekly expected move. And if it does see a rapid move up, the chance that that is a lower high is actually pretty good, because your weekly expected move up in this area, hey, if that starts to happen, you could just get some kind of retest of these highs and see it break down one more time. We'll pay attention to that when it happens, see if there's weakness in the move. For now, 2 hours seeing some steam. You got an hour and a half left in the bar. You still got to watch the 30-minute for the next few 30-minute bars. See if that's curling over, because that's going to be very telling. So I just wanted to say, hey guys, thank you guys so much for being here today. Oh, and we are popping. Okay, so we're starting to pop here. 2 hours might start to curl up, and they're really, really close to breaking through some daily expected moves, guys. So very interesting, as the put call ratio is so high that they're going to allow the market to go higher. So this would tell me, hey, Nvidia, if you want to cross up, it might head to that weekly expected move. The SPY and the Qs could head to that weekly expected move, because this could be a strong one, but it hasn't curled up yet, guys. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. It hasn't curled up yet. All right, the Qs hasn't curled up yet. So I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, because this could just go up to here and then fade right away. It literally could go up to here and fade. All right, that would make total sense if it just goes up to the daily and fades. But if it starts to cross through that, cross up on this and hold that bar, well, then we're probably targeting the upward weekly expected move for the Q. So we'll pay attention to that going forward. But thank you guys so much for joining. Good luck with the rest of your trades for the rest of the day. I got to bounce later today. I've been giving out YouTube videos pretty frequently. So tonight, make sure you got those notifications on. And if you want to learn about a lot of this stuff, guys, it's only $100 for like 5 more days. 5 more days, then the price goes up, okay? So if you want to get to learning this stuff, if you think it's helpful and you're kind of new to it, even if you're new, you can really learn using those videos. And then I'm going to make a little swing trading thing, I think, to help people out with the swing trading side of things, so you guys can pay attention to that too. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing. You guys are always fantastic about it. A lot of fun this morning, but I'll see you next time. Peace.